Now, I love my little sister, but she's just no material for sure. If she ever has kids, and if they ever get married, I'll be slipping just no mother cards into the new in-laws gifts for sure. I guess men really are attracted to women who remind them of their mothers, because my sister's mother-in-law is, well, I wouldn't be posting here if she was a great person who respects boundaries, right? I don't talk to my sister much, so this is all secondhand from our mother. My sister's mother-in-law, I'll call her Bogan Becky, adores her 3 sons and insists that they can do no wrong. By contrast, she couldn't give a hoot about her daughter, who seems like a pretty normal, non-toxic human being. Figures, right? Each of the boys has partnered up with a woman as drama-loving and self-centered as their mother. And Bogan Becky just loves playing the daughters-in-law off against each other. She particularly targets my sister, probably because, for all her faults, Sis has the shiniest spine in the world. In fact, she might have too much spine. But maybe I'm just mad about the time she punched our mother. Why, asks Becky Bogan, can't sister's boyfriend get back together with his old girlfriend? She was perfect. Was she perfect when she was dating the golden child? Have my doubts. Bogan Becky has just gotten married for the 3rd time. Before the wedding, she insisted that all her daughters-in-law join her for a massage and manicure. Nice, eh? She gave my sister the wrong time and day. Sister turns up at the salon, says she's with the Bogan Becky party, shows them the email she got inviting her. Oh, says the nice girl at reception. That's strange. Your invitation has the wrong day. The appointment was yesterday. But this is weird. I checked the party in myself, and there was no one missing. One of the sisters-in-law filled in the blanks. Bogan Becky ensured that Sis wouldn't be there, and arranged for the ex-girlfriend to take her spot. Didn't the sisters-in-law say something? No. That is not how this family rolls. They sat back, had their nails done, and let their llamas feed. Rather like me, come to think of it. Mustn't judge. Sister goes home, fills her boyfriend in, picks up the phone. Who do you think you are? She asked Becky Bogan, according to our mother's recounting of her version of events. I have better things to do than play your games. Is ex-girlfriend invited to the wedding too? When were you going to tell us? Oh, you weren't, were you? Well, says Bogan Becky, according to Mum, according to Sis. You wouldn't come if you knew. Damn right I'm not coming, and neither is boyfriend. I imagine her slamming the phone down, but it's 2017, so she probably just hit the end button really aggressively. Well, boyfriend is not too happy about this. He hates turning up to family events and finding his ex there, but he hates conflict even more. His spine, shall we say, is not that shiny. But he's nice to my mom, so I forgive him. So he begs and pleads and cajoles, and finally my sister relents. She'll go to the wedding. She'll even buy a new dress, as Bogan Becky required. But it won't be blue, as Bogan B had hoped. Oh no. Remember how I said my sister is a future just no mother? She wore white to her mother-in-law's wedding. Mother-in-law deserved it, although I can't help but wonder about the ex-girlfriend. Why would you spend a day out with ex-future mother-in-law with such a party, unless you were hoping to get back with the ex? Oh yeah, she absolutely wants to get back with her ex. I mean, I've never met her, but this is what Mum and I have surmised. He's a lovely guy if you can overlook the family and lack of spine, and he has a nice house, earns decent money. She had a good thing going, until she slept with his best friend. My best friend Chloe was getting married last Saturday, and I was the maid of honor. For 1 year straight, I was the main planner for her and did the best that I could to fit the standards she had set for the wedding. I even planned an amazing bachelorette party 1 month before the wedding, and I couldn't do this without the gorgeous bridesmaids as well. 2 days before the wedding, my husband had a heart attack and was hospitalized. Doctors said his situation was severe and he was transferred to an ICU. Later, doctors told me he needs an emergency open heart surgery within the next 24 hours. His situation was very life-threatening, and we could lose him any time. My best friend called me to wish me well, and I thanked her. She also asked if the surgery will happen before the wedding, and I said that it will happen the day before, but it will last for many hours. She said, that's all right, just making sure it doesn't intervene with the wedding, that's all. It's sad we can't have Ben there, my husband, but we'll have you, and you can eat and drink for both of you. That's when I told her I won't be able to come to the wedding, whether my husband's surgery is over or not, because I need to care for him, and I want to be next to him until we are 100% sure he's going to be fine. She said she understands, but she reminded me that as a maid of honor, I have a duty, and it's 1 day before the wedding. I can't drop out. I said that I'm sorry about this, but I almost lost my husband, and I don't want to leave his side yet. She didn't curse me out or anything, but she was very upset, and she started crying. She said she understands and wishes well again. My husband's surgery went well, and we were now waiting for his recovery. It was the day of the wedding, and I called my best friend to wish her well. She didn't pick up. Later, I video called one of the bridesmaids, and she answered. I asked to talk to Chloe, but she said she's busy getting ready. I said fine, I'll call later. I called again and again, but no response. I thought she was simply busy with the preparations. I called the day after the wedding, and still no response. She wouldn't reply to my texts at all. I contacted some of the bridesmaids, and they told me that she's very upset with me for dropping out the day before the wedding, and that I should make it work no matter what. Some of them said I did what's reasonable and how my husband's health should be my priority, but some others feel like I let down the bride on her big day, and I shouldn't expect a word from her anytime soon. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I want to clarify that this is the first time my friend has ever acted like this. We faced many difficulties during wedding planning, but she was always a sweetheart about it and made sure to never give a hard time to anyone. She was actually the most chill bride I've met in my life. There was no way I thought she'd react like this over such an important emergency because I didn't even have previous signs that she'd act like that. Edit 2. I want to add another disclaimer. On the day of the wedding, I stopped calling because I figured she'd not reply because she's busy. But later I was also told she was only not replying to me specifically because she was upset. She had taken a few calls from relatives who couldn't attend because of distance. She specifically didn't respond to me. One of the bridesmaids also pointed out how it's weird that she never called me to ask how my husband's surgery went, and as a best friend, she could take a couple of minutes out of her day to simply see if everything's okay as well. Never thought about this until my friend, the bridesmaid, mentioned it. So now it hurts way more. Not the a-hole, and my heart breaks for you to even have to ask this. You did everything perfectly, dear. If it was her in the hospital, would she prefer her now husband to go to a party or stay and sit with her? Or if it were her husband having open heart surgery, would she have the guts to go out and party, knowing what he was going through? I'm so glad your husband's surgery went well, and I hope for a speedy recovery. Over the past few days, my boyfriend and I have gone through a whirlwind of confusion and stress. Basically, his sister and her husband are 30 years old, but act like irresponsible teenagers. They house shopped for half a year and took advantage of everyone they could. They lived off of everyone else's income until they were kicked out. They finally got into an apartment after my boyfriend's mother swooped in and gave them hundreds to pay their rent and deposit. She's been paying their rent for 3 months now. She also just gave them $1,000. They have still not tried to get jobs, yet getting an eviction notice. They have 2 days to vacate or pay $2,500. My boyfriend and I love his sister. She's a great person, we thought, and we understand she's going through terrible times right now. But my boyfriend and I also know that she isn't doing anything to change it. Neither is her husband. Anyways, my boyfriend was very, very close with his sister. I was also close with her, and she has been rooting for us since I first met her. He's also close with her husband, but me, not so much. We get along, and I liked him since he was around pretty often. We just found out her husband has been cheating and not trying to make money to support them and their 3 kids. So he's officially a deadbeat, and my boyfriend and I don't give a duck what happens to him at this point. If she stays with him, that's their business, but he isn't welcome in our apartment. Honestly, neither is his sister because of everything that's happened. We're just worried for his 3 nephews who live with them. So remember how I said they owed $2,500 or they'd have to leave? A few days ago, she called my boyfriend and told him to come over as soon as possible. Honestly, they've been struggling for so long that it isn't uncommon for them to ask for money. $25 every now and then, sometimes every day. If they start asking for money every day, then we just stop answering and let them figure it out elsewhere. So we go to her apartment and I start playing with my boyfriend's nephews. They're 2 kids and an infant. My boyfriend's sister pulls him into another room to talk. She left for a few minutes, and my boyfriend called me in and quickly told me what they were talking about, since I wasn't welcome in the room while they were talking. Should have been a red flag from the beginning. Long story short, she asked my boyfriend for all $1,500 of our savings. At that point, we didn't even pay our deposits and rent yet. We got approved, and we're handling all of that on Tuesday, and for the meantime, we're staying at his brother's down the street. So if we gave it to her, we'd be out of a place to live and an approved apartment. There's no way this apartment would agree to us trying to push back the payments for a month and a half. She told my boyfriend she'll pay us back in 5 to 6 weeks. Yeah, right. She showed my boyfriend the eviction notices from the leasing office, and it's true, she owes $2,500. She has the $1,000 from his mom. I was eventually welcomed into the room, and her husband joined as well. I didn't say much because my answer was immediately no, and I will never change my mind on that. But they did a great job of guilt-tripping us. We really believed that they were struggling, and they loved us, and really need our help. My boyfriend told them we'd think about it, and we left. We went back to his brother's house and asked for his opinion. Suddenly, we realized how badly they just manipulated us. We were basically brainwashed into believing that they had no other options, and we were their only hope. How did we forget that they've been jobless for a year? How did we forget that they've been mooching off of the whole family for a year? Also, if we didn't hear his brother's opinion, my boyfriend probably wouldn't have been able to come to a conclusion. His brother let them live in his apartment for 3 months. He blew through $6,000 worth of savings because they were in here without the intention of leaving. Anyways, we texted her later that night and told her basically that we can't afford it and that we can't put our personal plans back to save her. We offered to help her find a new apartment with the $1,000 she has. She ignored us. It's been 24 hours. But before we said no, she wanted to talk to us so bad, right? She loved us and appreciated us so much, right? She didn't say one thing to us. We now realize that they only care about money and being lazy. They're entitled and selfish. Of course, we'll still talk to them, but we won't be offering any help at all. They got themselves in this situation. They can get themselves out of it. The whole family has been enabling this behavior, which isn't actually doing them any favors. Well done for putting your foot down. I met my ex-husband when I was 19. I'm 25 now. At the time, I had been living in the UK. He's significantly older than me, 40, and I moved to the USA to be with him. At the time, we were living together in a house in the DC area, which he had been able to purchase himself. We had 2 children via surrogate together, my daughter 3 and my son 1. I acted as stay-at-home dad for my children, since I had to stop working towards my degree to move to the States with my now ex-husband. I was fine with this arrangement, since my husband could easily support our family financially, and I was with my loving husband and my children. This was until my husband decided to cheat on me late last year. This was a devastating blow to me, to say the very least. Fortunately for me, I was able to gain majority custody of my children, in part because I had spent more time raising them, and in part because my ex-husband has a very busy career. Additionally, due to the fact that I don't have a career, and because I am living in the house with my kids, I was awarded a 75% share in the house, which is to be sold once my son moves out. I need to add that I specifically tried to gain both of these things, due to the fact that my husband was the one who ruined my marriage, and because without a large share in the house, I would effectively have no way to retire. Having a large share in the house means that I'm able to potentially work towards my degree while raising my children, which will essentially give me the chance to build my life again after the stress of the situation. My ex-husband didn't see things this way, though. After he found out I was going for a majority share in the house, he accused me of stealing his dream home from him and effectively trying to render him homeless. After the court ruling, my ex-mother-in-law contacted me to tell me that what I did was disgusting. She told me that I had caused my husband to become depressed and even went as far as to say that it's no wonder my ex-husband decided to leave me. This came as a shock, since my ex-mother-in-law was very supportive of me after she found out my ex-husband decided to cheat. My family, on the other hand, think that I'm not even remotely to blame for what happened, and that my ex-husband's depression is just an unfortunate thing to come out of this situation. Despite the reassurance from my family, my ex-mother-in-law's comments have made me think that I possibly went too far. After all, my ex-husband is also the father to my children, so the last thing I would want to do is cause him to become depressed. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. He cheated, and this is the consequences for his actions. He did this to himself. He's depressed because he got caught and screwed up his own life. My daughter recently told me and my wife that she's pregnant, and apparently she's been hiding it for 3 months. The boyfriend is a scumbag who I thought she left after I gave her an ultimatum to either leave him or leave my house, to which she chose the latter, or at least I thought she did. She started sobbing and telling us how sorry she was and that it was just a big mistake. I told her the only way she can stay in our house is if she gave the baby up for adoption, because we won't allow it to ruin her life. She just kept pleading to us that she'll take care of it, but I had a very hard time believing her after I just found out she's been lying to me for months and going behind my back to see her boyfriend. My daughter refused to give her baby up, to which I decided to kick her out of my house, and now she's staying with a friend for I don't know how long. My wife has been incredibly sad and is now telling me what I did was wrong. It wasn't an easy decision for me to make, but I couldn't allow her to walk away without any consequences. At her age, I was already taking care of myself, so I don't look at it the same way others might. Is it really wrong for me to kick my adult daughter out of my house after she lied to me? I'm willing to see if I've taken things too far. Yes, the a-hole. You know forbidding your daughter from seeing her boyfriend is just going to make him more desirable, right? And how is kicking her out when she is pregnant, vulnerable, and in need of stability and love going to help? Yeah, not great parenting, I would say. Edit. Getting a few responses saying OP set his rules and his daughter made her bed. Now she has to live with the consequences. Setting rules is one thing. Kicking your daughter out when she is most desperate is going to be the a-hole choice 99.9% of the time. OP is choosing his rules over supporting his daughter.